Welcome to the first Veggie Box unboxing video by Garrett Growers Cooperative. Today, we didn't have a veggie box to unbox, so we grabbed some things from the farmer's market. I'm gonna show you some initial tips to help us through the season as we get some new and interesting veggies to try. Oh, and we'll probably try some berries and fruits as well. But today, we're only at veggies. So today's haul, we have some kale, pea shoots. Those aren't onions, those are green garlics. There's a head of lettuce, some hydroponic tomatoes, and some purple potatoes, and some ugly red potatoes. Let's get started. Helping me today is Carla DeBerry. Hi, Carla. Hello. Now, Carla, before we start, I want to make sure that everything is safe, that we are practicing good food safety measures. So what I need you to do is put your hair up into a ponytail so we don't have any stray hairs getting into the food.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, before we started, we sanitized the counter here so that it was nice and clean. Now, you just played with your hair. That means you need to wash your hands. So go wash your hands, 20 seconds. You know good hand washing, right? Get those hands washed. It's really important to keep your family safe, to have clean food surfaces, to not mix surfaces that have had anything potentially hazardous like raw meat on them. Whenever you're putting foods like these yummy vegetables that you may eat raw. We do not want to make our families sick. So make sure everybody that's touching the food has clean hands and all of the surfaces are clean. So let's start with lettuce. When you have a head of lettuce like this, you want to first inspect it and make sure that there aren't any discolored leaves. Some of these on the outside here might be a little bit, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of black there. You can just rip that part out because the rest of the leaf looks fine. Some of them are a little pale. It's not going to hurt you to eat them, but they may be a little bit less palatable, so you can rip those off. But I love to have kids involved in preparing fresh foods because that encourages them to get more involved in cooking, and then maybe they'll be more inclined to eat those fresh produce. So I'm going to have Carla come over here and I'm going to show you what you want to do is we have to get these leaves separated, and the easiest way to do that is to get this core part out. So we're going to hold the whole head back here so all the leaves are in that area there. So your nice clean hands, try to get it all pulled back there. And you're going to take the knife, keep your fingers back there. Okay, take the knife and chop right there just a little bit up from the roots there. That looks great. Slice straight down through. And we'll discard that. And now we'll put the bowl here and you can separate those leaves into the bowl. Actually, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, that looks great. Okay, we have put some cold water on the lettuce. And now, Carla, if you can come over here and take your fingers in there gently and swish that lettuce around in the water to make sure that we remove any sediment or dirt that's on there. This head of the lettuce was very clean because it was actually grown hydroponically, meaning without soil, only with nutrients and water. So this head will not have much trouble. Now, I want you to take the leaves and swish them around one last time as you pull them out of the water and put them into the colander. Yep. Get all those yummy leaves out. Good. And we inspect the water, look in there and make sure that there's no sediment left. And if it looks good, then your lettuce is done and we are ready to dry it even further. My favorite way to dry lettuce is to put them in a very clean and sanitized lingerie bag. So go ahead and slide those pieces in here gently. And now comes the fun part. Let's take this outside. Okay, Carla, take that bag, hold it tight at the top so nothing will come out. And I want you to spin it around in a circle fast as you can.
Okay.
Do you see what's happening? We're using centrifugal force to get that water out of there. Now stop spinning for a second. Shake it around a little bit to get it, yeah, get the leaves around. Now shake it some more. Spin. This is my favorite part. Did I mention that before? All right, looks good. Let's bring it in and look at it. We're gonna put some paper towels in the bottom of our colander to make sure that things are a little drier, and we're gonna dump those beautiful leaves out into the bowl, and they are ready to do with what you wish. Our next product are pea shoots. Pea shoots are these classification of fresh produce called microgreens, and they're just basically little baby pea plants, these guys, if you can see those, and they taste just like a sweet sugar snap pea. To prepare these, you basically do the same exact thing we did with the lettuce. The next thing in our box this week is kale. Do you like kale?
Yeah.
You like kale, yep. So what we need to do is, if you notice, kale comes in this nice little leaf, but it has this pretty tough stem on it. So what we like to do is separate those. So what I do is I kind of fold the leaf over, hold on to that leaf, and then pull the stem kind of right off. So we're gonna put the stems over here, and we're gonna put the leaves in the bowl. So you wanna help us work with that?
Yep.
Some people, if they're much larger leaves, you can do the same process down on the cutting board and lay the leaf like that, and then use your knife to, you know, slide that off. But I love to rip things, so I think it's more fun to do that. So we'll just rip them off. With kale, you take care of it the same exact way as you do lettuce. So we're gonna swish it around in the bowl, make sure that there's no sediment left, and if there's any sediment left, then we'll rinse that out and do it in another bowl. And after we're done, we'll spin it dry. Now we have some lovely kale stems here, and you think, well, we should throw those away, but not really, because there is so much fiber in these, and it's super healthy to have kale stems in your foods. You can, they are not good to eat raw, but we can take them and chop them up into smaller pieces, and Carla, I'm gonna have you help me do that. Pinch them together like this back here about halfway, and then you're gonna cut them into short little pieces. And you can throw those into your pan if you're gonna saute your kale or braise it. Throw these little pieces in the pan first and let them cook for a little while, and then you can throw in your leaves, because the leaves are much thinner, so they cook faster, but these chunks will take a lot longer to cook. Now we're going to talk about tomatoes. We have 3 tomatoes here. There's actually 2 varieties. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but this one's kind of a pinkish color, if you notice. And this one's more red. I don't know if you can see that. But that means this is a different variety. There are pink, yellow, purple, green, all sorts of tomatoes out there. And they all have slightly different flavors and slightly different acidity levels. So some are a little sweeter, some are a little more tart. And you will find, if you shop at the farmer's market or get food from Garrett Growers, which ones that you like the best. Now, I'm going to put this one aside because it's a different variety, but we have 2 of the same variety here, and this is going to help us learn which one do you think is more ripe, Carla?
This one?
Yep, definitely. See how much more red it is, if you can see that in this light. Now, whenever you have tomatoes, you should never put them in the fridge unless they're already sliced. Tomatoes are best kept out on the counter, basically at room temperature. And the best way to store them is actually face down, stem side down. When you're ready to use a tomato is when you wash it. So first we'll do is we're going to take off the little stem there. Can you twist him off of there? Sometimes they're a little tough. There we go. And then you're going to run him under some water, and we'll get ready to slice. Scrubbing a little bit there, get all the dirt off of it, especially around the stem part. When you're helping a child learn how to use a knife, you want to make things more safe for them. So it's easiest to, Carla, hold on the edge over here, and then you're going to cut straight down through the center of the tomato. And this knife is not a great tomato knife, so you're going to have to slice a little bit. There you go. Tomato knives with serrated blades work better. Great. So now we have this lovely half. Now if you wanted slices that way, you could do that by putting it down on a more stable surface. When it's flat, it's much easier to slice. So slice a couple slices off there for me. That smells yummy. Oh my gosh, look how juicy. And here we have some green garlic. And what we're doing to the green garlic, you can also do to green onions, but this is what we had today, so this is what we're going to work with. If you notice, there's a little bit of dirt down at the bottom and maybe up the stalk. So we want to clean these guys, all right? So Carla, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pull any of these roots down here all together, and then we're going to trim just the very tip of that off. So we're leaving as much of that beautiful garlic as we can. And why don't you take these two over and rinse them off? That's great. So you get all the visible dirt and then down in those little holes. That's right. You want to try to get where those leaves are. What I like to do sometimes is if I want smaller pieces of it and I don't want great big rings, sometimes I will take it and split the stalk down through here like that. And then you can chop it into pieces. So chop it into pieces there, and we'll add that in for our recipe. The greens of the green garlic are edible as well. Some people like to eat the greens just raw in salads. I've minced them up and used them in salad dressings. I've used them, the whole stalk, in all sorts of soups and casseroles and sautés. It's really good to use this fresh garlic in the spring. So we just chopped garlic and we have very garlicky fingers. So we have a little bit of dish soap in our hand right there. We're going to get a little bit of water on our hand, and then we're going to rub our fingers on the stainless steel sink. So rub your fingers, every surface of them on the stainless steel sink, a little bit of water, and try to get every part that worked that garlic on this stainless steel sink. And that helps to remove the smell of garlic from your fingers. Let's talk potatoes. Potatoes have to be held at a certain temperature and certain humidity in order to stay nice and solid longer. This potato has not been held at the right temperature and location because it has started to sprout. Now, this does not mean that this potato is bad in any way. It's still good, but if you notice how wrinkly it is, it's a little softer than normal. Can kind of see, I can actually squish it a little bit, and it has these sprouts. The sprouts are not edible because potatoes are nightshade plants, so that means although the tubers, this part of the potato, is edible, the plant part is not, so you always remove those. And then we're going to wash it up along with our other two potatoes and then talk about what's on the inside. These potatoes are fairly clean, so we're just going to use our hands to rub the dirt off, but you can use a veggie brush if you need to get down in those little cracks and crevices. So here are our three potatoes. The first two, the red one and the white one, are basically the same nutrition-wise. Even though there's a little bit of red color in the skin of this one, there's really not enough to change the basic nutritional value of a potato because inside they are both white potatoes. Okay, so those are not necessarily recommended as a vegetable portion during your day. This is more of a starch, and that means that people with diabetes or who have pre-diabetes really shouldn't have very many potatoes in their diet. So we're going to set these aside and talk about this guy. So Carla, I want to see you chop this guy in half, and let's look on the inside of it. What do you see?
Purple.
Purple potato. So purple potatoes actually have a lower glycemic index, meaning it doesn't affect your blood sugar as poorly as a white potato does. So if you must have a potato dish, try a purple potato. Those are available at some of our specialty farms. And they can be used anywhere you use a regular potato. So you could have purple mashed potatoes, purple fries, purple hash browns. You have a question?
Yeah. Will it change the flavor at all?
It really doesn't. If you do a blind taste test, there's no difference. So let's assemble our salad. We've got some torn pieces of kale in there. We're going to tear up some lettuce into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to throw a few pieces of the garlic tops in there, the green garlic. You love pea shoots, so you want to throw a few of those in.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll throw those in here. Get your pea shoots in there. Throw a few tomatoes. We've got some big wedges so that people who don't like tomatoes can just plop those out. And then for our dressing, that's great, that's enough. For our dressing, we're not going to use a salad dressing. We're just going to use a little bit of lemon juice. So you want to shake that up really good for me. And let's take a little bit of it and sprinkle it over the salad. Get the lid off there. Okay, just a squirt, squirt, squirt. One more squirt. There you go. And then we're going to do a couple grinds of some sea salt. So hold it like this, hold the bottom in place, and move this up there. Around a little bit. Okay, perfect. And the salad is ready to go. You can gently mix it a little bit here so that we get some of that lovely lemon juice on there. But that lemon juice helps to brighten the flavor of your salad. So it basically, you know, just helps enhance the natural flavor of the ingredients. It doesn't overpower it. It doesn't add any you know, fat to the recipe, and it's just really good. So I'm going to try a little bite right here. Yum. All right, we have some leftover lettuce from our salad, and we are going to put it in the fridge. The best way to save our lettuce and keep it fresh longer is to put it in a plastic bag with a dry paper towel. We're going to slide that in the bottom there. Good. And then you're going to stick your lettuce in your bag. We'll seal it up and we'll stick it in the fridge. And you want to do this as fast as possible. You want to keep the lettuce cold as long as possible. And if you buy something from the farmer's market and it sits in the car for a long time, you definitely want to get it in your house and get it to the cold water in the sink as fast as you can to help stop that deterioration process. So we're going to stick this in the fridge. And other things that we cook today are the same exact way. So if we washed our pea shoots, we need to put a little dry paper towel in the bottom of that bag and stick those in the fridge. Same way with the kale. If we washed it and put it in a bag and stick it in the fridge. The green garlic and green onions, those kind of things also need to be refrigerated. Remember, the tomatoes and potatoes do not. Potatoes should definitely be kept in a dark place because if they're exposed to sunlight, they will turn green. And although it won't kill you, it's not necessarily great for your body. So we want to put those potatoes in a dark place, sometimes in a brown paper bag under the sink. A little bit cooler place would be a good place to put it. And tomatoes, again, are going to be stored on their stem side down on the counter, somewhere in the place where it will not be too cold and too hot. And that is the way that we keep our veggies going. I want to thank Carla for helping me cook today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you to the University of Maryland Extension for the use of their lovely kitchen facility. And thank you to the Garrett County Health Department, Diabetes Prevention, for funding this project through Garrett Growers Cooperative.